Welcome, everyone. Today, we are unpacking a truly fascinating explainer based on the detailed teachings and complete interpretations of layman Lin Mingxiang. He does something amazing here. He takes two massive spiritual traditions, the Chan or Zen school and the Pure Land school, and weaves them together perfectly. Now, the original source material is deeply rooted in traditional Chinese, but don't worry, we are going to decode the core essence into plain English today. And just a quick heads up for those watching, English subtitles are fully available. We're going to dive right into the profound storytelling of ancient masters and map it directly onto how our modern human minds actually work. So let's jump right in. Okay, let's dive into this. Take a look at this legendary quote from Chan Master Linji: "When not a single thought arises, the whole manifests." Pretty monumental Zen concept, right? Honestly, it sounds almost magical, maybe even a little abstract at first glance. But here is the real goal for our explainer today. We're going to take this ancient, kind of mystical idea and connect it directly to our fast-paced 21st century reality. We are going to look under the hood at the exact mechanics of how your mind works and see how literally silencing that wandering mind unlocks an entirely new, higher state of awareness.
To really get there, we first need to wrap our heads around a foundational paradox from the Chan school, originally brought to us by the sixth patriarch, Huning. In Buddhism, you've got these two massive concepts, right? First, there's samadhi, which essentially means deep concentration, or the unmoving essence of the mind. And then there's wisdom, which is your dynamic insight and function. For centuries, people honestly thought of these as two completely separate goals you had to chase down. But Huning famously stepped in and declared, no, they aren't two different things at all. Chan is the essence, the school is the function, and they are literally one and the same entity. It's kind of like a lamp and the light it produces. You simply cannot have one without the other.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how Teacher Lin translates this ancient paradox into a stunningly simple psychological framework for us. I mean, think about the words popping into your head right at this very second. Those perceived word appearances, those manifest thoughts, that is wisdom the function. But that pure, quiet awareness right behind those thoughts, the knower who's actually observing them, that is samadhi. And here's the kicker. They happen at the exact same time. Without your awareness, you wouldn't even see the thought. But without the thought, there's nothing for the awareness to illuminate. They are completely 100% inseparable. So this naturally brings us to a really critical question. What is the essential teaching to actually enter this Chan gate using your own mind? Because, it is one thing to nod along and understand this high-level theory of not to, but how do we actually apply it? How do we take this lofty philosophy and bring it down into the actual nuts and bolts psychological mechanics of our everyday, noisy, chaotic experience? Basically, how do we flip the switch? So the crucial point here is breaking down exactly how our mind is constantly processing information. Layman Lin gives us this brilliant, detailed explanation using a framework called the four roots of the mind. First up, you have the thinking root. That's your internal logic and dialogue. Second is the imagining root, the pictures you're constantly drawing in your head. Third, the mindfulness root, your memory and focus. And finally, the fourth is the tongue root, your physical speech. Just imagine sitting down and reading a menu at a restaurant, right? Your eyes see it, your mind pictures the food, your memory recalls what it tastes like, and your inner voice reads the words. These four roots are constantly firing, churning out all these wandering thoughts and pulling our attention in a million different directions all day long. Now, Layman Lin's absolute genius is showing us how we can channel all four of these chaotic roots into one single unified practice. And this is exactly where the Pure Land tradition steps in. Step one involves using that imagining root we just talked about to solely visualize the written appearance of Amitabha Buddha. Then, step two brings in the tongue root to physically recite the name, Namo Amitabha Buddha. When you successfully lock those two in, step three just naturally follows. You completely subdue the wandering thinking and mindfulness roots. By hyper-focusing all of your mind's processing power onto this one single point, you reveal what Teacher Lin calls the pure original code of the mind. And this brilliantly illustrates a super relatable modern metaphor that Teacher Lin uses in his explainer. He calls this activating the Buddha recitation machine in the mind. I love this. Think about it almost like running a really powerful antivirus software in the background of your computer. When your tongue and your mind are continuously occupied with this single recitation, it literally clears away diluted thoughts and karmic obstacles right out of the brain. It brings, as Lin puts it, a special flavor to the heart. You see, you aren't fighting your thoughts. You are simply replacing all their noisy output with one single pure frequency.
But we have to remember the specific mental state you hold while doing this is absolutely vital. In the classic Pure Land texts, Shakyamuni Buddha talked about two different mental states. One is called womb birth, which basically symbolizes doubting the Buddha's wisdom. It's like you're reciting the name, but you're still letting your mind wander around in skepticism. The other is transformed birth, which is clearly believing in the Buddha's wisdom. Your inner mental state, the sheer clarity of your faith and your focus, directly dictates your spiritual destination. The physical action might look exactly the same on the outside, but the internal software running it, that makes all the difference in the world. Which leads us perfectly to this incredibly powerful quote from Teacher Lin's full interpretation. Single-mindedly reciting Amitabha's name is clearly believing in the Buddha's wisdom. This is absolutely profound because it tells us that this incredibly simple, highly accessible practice, literally just reciting a name, is actually the highest, most profound expression of Zen. You really don't need to go sit facing a stone wall for 20 years to experience Chan. By single-mindedly focusing your four roots on this one recitation, you are actively living that unity of samadhi and wisdom right here, right now. Let's move forward and see how this builds, because we have to ask the obvious question. What is the ultimate result of doing all this? The ancient texts say, samadhi is the one, wisdom is the many. The myriad dharmas, or the infinite phenomena of the universe, return to the one. So when all those complex, chaotic, overlapping thoughts in your brain finally collapse into this single pure recitation, what actually happens to your consciousness? Like, what is the tangible, real-world result of this practice, without needing to seek out anything magical or mysterious? Well, the result is a massive structural transformation of your mind. To fully interpret Teacher Lin's notes here, this practice purifies what's called the 8 consciousnesses. Now, these are basically the foundational ways human beings perceive and process the whole world, from our 5 senses all the way down to our deepest subconscious storehouse. The practice transforms those ordinary consciousnesses into the 4 wisdoms of an awakened being, and it gathers all your scattered energy into the 3 bodies of a Buddha. What this actually means in plain, everyday terms is that you transcend all your ordinary chaotic reactions. You abide in what is called the Tathagata's position, meaning a state of pure reality. You become able to respond perfectly to people and situations exactly as they are, completely free of your own psychological baggage. As Layman Lin states so beautifully here, it reveals the essence of the 1,000 sutras and 10,000 treatises. This method is just so incredibly direct. You really don't need to mix a dozen different complicated spiritual practices together. Just by understanding your mind's 4 roots and unifying them through this simple recitation, you unlock the deepest spiritual truths written across thousands of ancient texts. You literally reveal the pure original code of your own 6 senses. It's kind of like the ultimate hack for spiritual clarity, and it's been hiding in plain sight the entire time. And finally, Teacher Lin connects this ancient Chan teaching to what I think is the ultimate modern metaphor. Think about it. Once you purify your consciousness, where do you actually abide? You abide in the pure land of eternal stillness and light. But listen closely to how he describes it. It's an internet-like world of Amitabha Buddha. Just let that sink in for a second. The Pure Land isn't some distant physical planet you pack your bags and travel to. It is an interconnected, boundless, high-speed network of pure Buddha awareness. When your mind hits that single frequency, you instantly log on to this ultimate network of wisdom and compassion. So, I want to leave you all with this final, provocative question. Are you ready to walk the path, recite the name, and unlock the pure original code of your own mind? Teacher Lin insists that just reading or hearing about this explainer isn't enough. You have to actually put it to the test. You have to activate that internal recitation machine for yourself. Because at the end of the day, only by walking the path and turning your awareness inward can you truly know it. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep exploring, keep practicing, and I will see you next time.